Hello, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we are going to be talking about eBay. Buy it now.
Buy it now.
Now. This is designed by Daniel Reynolds and it is published by eBay.
So, this is not a game that you can actually even buy it now. This is this is a game that was a Gen Con exclusive, and because of that, it's got the thematic elements of board games that you're going to be collecting, comics, plushies, trading cards, the kinds of things that you might see around the halls of Gen Con. So they were basically throwing this at us at Gen Con last year. Like, do you have an eBay account? Take this game! And so everyone was walking around with a copy of this. So from what early thoughts were, hey, this is a cool, light auction game. So now we've got a chance to play it enough, so let's give you our thoughts on it. This is a lighter auction-style game where you're trying to get some points by having the best value of things. Let's show you how to play. All right, here is our individual player boards for eBay Buy It Now. Basically, this is going to be where we track all of our different belongings. Here's everything we own in all the different 6 categories. We have our trading cards, plushes, comics, board games, toys, and statues. This is also going to be where we track how much money we have. If we ever go more than 100, we flip it over, and now we've got 100 plus whatever the track is. Across the top here is how much we're going to be bidding on various things at the end of each round. So what's going to happen is we're going to take 3 actions. After every player has taken their first action, we rotate it again, and eventually rotate it again. So all players have taken 3 actions, and at that point we take an auction, which I'll show you on the main board in a little bit. So when we do our auctions, we're going to put our little divider here in front of us. We're going to move our bidding token wherever we want to bid for that particular item. And then we are going to reveal them simultaneously. Whoever bid the most on that particular item is going to gain it. If there is a tie for the most, what's going to happen is we're going to put our shields back in front of us. All players who were part of that tie at that point must either bid more or bid 0. So you cannot just have the same bet over again. And then again, you reveal. And at that point, whoever has the highest bid, once again, gains that card. And if there is still a tie, at that point, the card gets bottomed to the bottom of the auction deck and will come out again later. So that's all there is to our individual player boards. Now let's go to the main board. All right, so here is the main board. There's basically 4 different actions you can take on your turn. And remember, you're going to get 3 turns every round before the auction. All right, the first thing you can do is you can go to the Buy It Now deck. This is basically all the cards that we're going to be auctioning off at the end of each round, except for you can actually buy them here to make sure you have them locked in ahead of time. These are multipliers that you're really going to want at the end of the game. This particular one is talking about trading cards, and it says over here on the side, if you have one of these cards, it's worth 2 points. If you have 2 of these, it's worth 5 points. If you have 3, it's worth 9. And if you're able to get 4 of these cards, these trading card cards, it's going to be worth 15 points at the end of the game. So these are the multipliers that you're really going to want. And again, at the end of each round, these are the cards that we're going to be bidding on, and those function the same way as far as scoring, but here you can just straight up buy them. This is our collectibles deck over here. These are different things that you're going to be gaining as far as the actual moving up your cubes on your personal boards. So this bottom one here, this is free. This particular one says it's a yard sale. If you take this card, you'll be able to move up your board games 1 spot and your statues 1 spot on your personal player board. So this is the actual scoring. This row over here as well as the auction. So why would you want actual goods? Why would you want these actual goods you're going to get from this collectible deck? Well, the last action that you can do on your turn is you can sell the goods you have for whatever their current market value is. So let's say we sold a statue for $20. It's currently where the little marker is. We would get $20 and we would move the marker up. Now, going forward, they're worth $25 for every one of those you sell. And on your personal player board, you need to move statues down, showing that you have 1 less in your stock. So kind of the way the progression of the game is going to go is you're going to gather your resources by going to the collectibles deck. You're going to slide those items up on your personal player boards. And then you're going to sell those items for money, which is going to make the prices kind of shift upwards. And then once you have some money, you can use it to go to this Buy It Now deck or to the auction deck in order to get those multipliers. And again, those are the real victory points. So remember, these prices are going to keep on ticking upward and upward and upward. Now there is a mechanism at the beginning of each round where whatever the top card that you flip over is, this top card here, is going to be bringing some of those items back down a little bit. But basically what's going to happen is everything's going to creep up slowly, and if it ever gets to the very top spot and it gets sold at that price, it's going to bring its value all the way back down to the bottom, so the market is constantly shifting. The end of the game is going to be triggered once the auction deck has run out. At that point, you're going to finish off all of your actions, and then eventually finish the round by auctioning off whatever cards are left over in the deck, and at that point, it's going to trigger the end of the game. Everyone's going to take their cards, they're going to multiply them out by however many they have of each card, and whoever has the most points wins the game.
The board told you what to do in this game, which I think is great. So when you buy a card, it lets you know to replace it or not to replace it, when to replace it. It really just walked you through the whole game. So if you were brand new to gaming, you could just set this up and play, because the board really reminded you exactly what to do, when to do it. So that was pretty nice.
Yeah, but at the same time, if this is a Gen Con exclusive, if you're picking up a Gen Con, chances are you're not new to gaming.
The first time you went to Gen Con, you were very new to gaming.
I still knew enough to know how to shift a card down.
But you were very new.
I wasn't that new. It's fine. It's fine. So I mentioned a little bit in the intro, but this has had some really great tropes from Gen Con that they chose for this being a Gen Con exclusive. They wanted to go with the plushies, they wanted to go with the board games, the trading cards, all those things that you would see, getting, handled at any given booth at Gen Con. They're going to be selling plushies, they're going to be selling board games, they're going to be selling Pokemon and Magic cards, or whatever the case is. And those are also kind of things that they sell on eBay, so it really worked well for them, as a marketing technique. Like, hey, remember, if you want some board games, we sell them on eBay, or if we've got trading cards, we can buy them on eBay.
We have them for you.
We have plushies, we've got it all.
That's really what the game was. The game was an advertising of, look what eBay has. Look at all this stuff. You like this stuff, we have this stuff. That's what the game was.
That's what it boils down to. It was a great pairing of a marketing scheme and a marketing technique, which kind of made me laugh.
I will say that the money token was kind of frustrating. So there's this track that you're keeping track of to see how much money you have, and then when you're doing the auction, how much you're willing to spend. And we actually didn't use those because
they were 2 to 3 times too big.
They
covered
up
multiple spots.
They were too big. So we have a bits bag. Not we. Ryan has a bits bag, and so we went into his little bits bag and pulled out some bits for this because we needed a better way to keep track of the money track. So just keep your eye out for that.
All right, so thematically, this had a big disconnect for me. One of the things that happens in the game is you are collecting a quantity of items. You're going to these yard sales, you're going to stores, you're buying these things, and you are building up a collection of these things, right? So now you have an inventory of your stuff, and then you sell it for money. Okay, but then that's not how you get points. The points is not money. Points is points. The way you get points has nothing to do with how many things you have or how much their value is. It has to do with how many of these scoring cards you got. And these scoring cards were I don't know, nonsensical, I guess. They had nothing to do with anything. I don't know how to even describe them thematically, because there is no way to describe them thematically. They were just these cards that told you the more you have of these cards, the more points you have. I wanted it to be something like a multiplier. Okay, so that makes sense a little bit. If I had 4 of these cards that were these board game cards,
yeah,
and that means that I have my multiplier of board games is X amount. And then at the end of the game, I'll multiply that by how many games I actually have.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Some way to tie in how much stuff you have.
That's not the game.
No, it's just these cards that say points. I don't know. It was just a weird disconnect between collecting the items and then just how you scored. We had nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Overall, this is a pass for me. It was okay, but it just didn't do anything. And we played it and we're like, that's how I feel about this game. There's no words. It's just that feeling of pure meh.
Yeah, for a free game, it was great.
Yes, that is true.
We got what we paid for. But at the same time, it's a lighter auction-style game. Auction-style games are fun. I enjoy them. And it did have this way that, because of the simultaneous reveal, it worked really well at 2 players. A lot of times
that is true. That is very true.
Auction games, you usually want 3, 4, 5 players. I'm actually designing an auction game right now that I couldn't figure out a way to make it work at 2. So I liked how they had a 2-player game. You could play it with 2 players with the auction, which was kind of nice. So if you like lighter style auction games, or if you like the eBay theme, or if you just like Gen Con exclusives, and that, woohoo, Gen Con, you might enjoy this one.
Woohoo, Gen Con.
This is not a game that we're going to break out. If we're going to break out an auction game, we're going to break out Raw or something else like that. So.
Yeah. Everybody, thank you so much for watching it. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. And until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.